So you started on this path of self-improvement and you started implementing a lot of techniques and all this stuff into your daily routine. And one of them is saying affirmations. And you look at yourself in the mirror and start saying all these positive, amazing affirmations. Now that it's good. I'm not saying that's bad, but you keep doing all these things. You just keep shouting affirmation in front of the mirror, but nothing really changes. And you kind of feel it on the inside like I'm doing all these affirmations, but nothing's really happening, nothing's really changing, and you don't really feel anything on the inside. You don't really feel any sort of change. So you kind of feel that you're doing something wrong and kind of lose hope. You lose interest in even doing any affirmations in the future, and that kind of propels you into this trajectory, this downward spiral of you rejecting these things and telling none of this shit works, and go start getting yourself into these old patterns all over again. And it'll be even more harder for you to even comprehend and look at these things ever again, and even start on this journey of self-improvement, or even look at affirmation the same way. You will think that this is some woo-woo stuff. This is not practical advice. This is some bullcrap that has been taught by someone else, and you start rejecting this idea. So the reason why affirmations don't seem to work for you is because you don't feel it when you say. It's like your words have no meaning. The words that you say, that it comes from your mouth, or even when you journal it down, when you start scripting and start instilling new beliefs. Now, when you start letting go of all these past traumatic behaviors, when you start letting go and start doing all this inner work, there's a slight space. And I like to call this a space where you can reprogram your beliefs, you can reset your mind. If you were in this constant negative thinking, if you had negative thought patterns and always said negative words, you can shift yourself into reprogramming your mind into have more positive approach or positive thinking, or have more positive thoughts. Instead of instilling a lot of self-criticism, self-judgment, self-hate, you can shift that into self-love and even give yourself the trust and the ability to love yourself. Now this is a process. This doesn't magically happen overnight. You have to believe that you can do it. And one of the ways, one of the techniques that you can easily transition from going from self-hate to self-love is affirmations, scripting, and journaling. It's like you're rewiring the thought patterns in your brain to believe, think, and act in a certain way. So if you've been believing, thinking, and acting in a very negative way, and you have this negative impression of yourself, and you're constantly criticizing yourself and constantly being in this space of self-judgment, self-hate, and you start manifesting those things in your real waking life. So when you start reprogramming your brain and instilling new beliefs, that is when you kind of raise your consciousness, raise your vibration, and your thought pattern kind of shift from self-hate to self-love. And this is where affirmations, journaling, and scripting come into play. But many times when you start scripting, or even when you start affirmations, it doesn't really seem to work. It doesn't really have any significant effect, because you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. You're not putting any emotion, you're not putting any feel into it. Now, I don't mean to sound like very woo-woo. I don't mean to sound like this crazy guy who's just preaching. You have to feel it, man. Yeah, you have to feel it. It doesn't matter if you keep saying some things all over again and again. You have to feel it in your core self. You have to feel it in your belief system. I don't mean to tell you all of that. I mean to feel it wholly, because when you're writing or journaling something, or telling yourself that I love myself, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, but internally you don't feel that. Internally, if you don't feel love and you keep mentioning that you are awesome, I am awesome, I feel amazing, and you actually don't feel amazing on the inside, there's this kind of dissonance. There's no connection between the heart and the mind, because your heart is feeling something else and your mind is rationalizing, making into logic that I love myself, I am the best human being in this planet, I deserve all the love, I am worthy. Your brain is kind of using logic and framing these sentences and calling it affirmations and implementing the way of affirmations, scripting, journaling, but your heart feels a different emotion. And there's a dissonance. And when there's a disconnection between your heart and mind, these affirmations, journaling, scripting don't really work. They don't have any true effect. It's like you're fooling yourself at that given moment, but when you start the day, when you start the day after you finish your affirmations, you go on about your daily routine, your daily tasks, and whatever thought patterns that you have let go of, and what you believed, that you have instilled this new belief system, and you're this amazing person now, all that crumbles down. It's like they were built on sand. There's no solid core foundation, and the solid core foundation comes from feeling and acting upon it. Just by saying some pretty words, saying that I'm amazing, I'm alpha, I'm confident, I'm the best person in the world, like, huh. If you keep saying all these things, it's just surface level. It's not actually fixing any deep-rooted issue. Even if you fix all your deep-rooted issues and come back and actually live and actually say all these things, but you don't actually feel or act upon them, it's like you're fooling yourself. It's like, as I mentioned before, it's built on sand. The whole building is built on sand, and as the wind blows, it's going to collapse. The belief system, as soon as you encounter any situation that is even causes a minor discomfort in your mind or your body, everything crumbles. All that self-image, that self-confidence that you have built upon, and by practicing affirmations for 365 days, for 4 fucking years, if you keep doing that, and you did that, none of that actually has any permanent result if you don't actually embody the feeling. Now, that is where the connection between the heart and the mind comes into play. Because whatever your mind is very, it's always flying here and there. It can make very good sense of the things, perceive things, and make a logic out of it, backward rationalize it, and actually implement it in ways of affirmations, journaling, and scripting. But if you're not feeling it, it's like walking on eggshells. Like, you are going to collapse. It's not going to hold any permanent shift. It's not going to have any permanence or a solid foundation, because any minor inconvenience that you face, all that new belief system that you have instilled upon, are going to come back down. It's going to be destroyed. So that is why feeling is key, because it really doesn't matter if you're screaming affirmations for 30 hours every morning or just 3 minutes. The 3 minutes of affirmations or just 30 seconds of affirmations can be more effective than doing it for 3 hours a day. Those 30 seconds, you have to embody the feeling. And these are the concepts of Neville Goddard, his teachings and his research and his work. And he says it like this is the key for even manifesting your desired reality. Feeling is key, because when you feel that you are amazing, when you feel that you are worthy, it kind of reprograms your mind and makes it more easier for your mind to comprehend and actually implement. Like, it's like your thought patterns create your reality. It's much more easier for you to believe, because your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. That's why dreams seem so real. Like, you can be drowning in a dream and it feels so real. It's only when you realize this is a dream, you kind of ease in and you wake back up, because your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. But if you implement the same technique to imagine yourself feeling love, being worthy, and actually embodying it, and then saying the affirmations out, or then journaling and scripting for just 30 seconds, you can say 3 lines, that's it. Now, many would go do this entire routine. It's like a full-blown workout routine. They'll say affirmation for 3 hours and then journal for 2 hours, and then revise the journal and script for another 30 minutes, refining the journaling that they have done. I mean, who has time for all of that? And they'll do all of this, but all of this would crumble instantly when they find this minor inconvenience. So your 30 seconds of affirmations and 30 seconds of even scripting and journaling, writing just 3 lines where you feel and embody the reality that you desire, and you embody that higher version of yourself. When you embody the desired version of you, and you embody it, you feel it, it's like your body kind of believes it. That imagination kind of morphs into reality. Your body kind of feels it, it envisions like it's happening right around at this very moment. And then it'll be much more easier for your mind to believe these affirmations that you say to yourself, and thus journaling that you write and all the scripting that you do. It has a much more bigger impact and has actually solid foundation, and you will not be triggered or put off balance or be out of alignment just because of some minor inconvenience. So the key is to feel it, act upon it, and embody the feeling while you practice affirmations, journaling, scripting, and gratitude.